Look, thanks for having me tonight again. Welcome back. I'm really looking forward to having a chat with Will. It's not too often you get two people in the room that average 50 and can spruik about it. So Stuart sort of asked me just to give an update on where things sit in the T20 world. And to be honest, in this state, quite chaotic is the way you can only describe it. So the BBL has been looking for private investment or investment into their business. This has been ongoing for well over probably a year, and I know a few people involved in that process about negotiating with the states, which from my perspective is the real difficult challenge, because you're dealing with non-for-profit organisations in theory that ultimately want to try and run as a business. So Victoria is a big player in the market, along with New South Wales. And what we've seen, I'm not sure if anyone's up to speed, but we've seen that Nick Cummins has come out and said, well, we're going to sell one of the franchise teams to an overseas investor. I've got a number of sources which tell me it's either Sunrisers Hyderabad or Chennai Super Kings. So if you've got any intel on sports bet, go and whack some cash on that and you'll make a bit. But for me, I'm real sort of optimistic around this. I think we're all traditionalists at heart in this space. I love Test cricket, I love the longer format, but you also have to be realistic about where the game's moving. And unfortunately, it's moved to a shorter, fast-paced, McDonald's-style form of cricket. There's no doubt that the longer format Test cricket tests every bit of your skill, every bit of your mental aptitude, and every bit of how you operate as a person. The shorter format tests skill, but does it really test you mentally? I'm not 100% sure just yet. Time will tell. So where does it leave us in Victoria? It leaves the Renegades cast out as the bad child, and we have the Melbourne Stars, soon to be rebranded as the Rangers, which I don't really want to see, to be honest, at all. I'd love to see the Melbourne Stars maintain that marketing strategy that put together over 15 years and just have a Victorian flavour to it. This is one of the things which I want to bring to the table, is that we've got a huge talent pool in Victoria, and I was part of this when the teams first came to separate. So Victoria before went to Renegades and Stars were the best T20 side in Australia, if not the world. And then when it separated, unfortunately, our talent pool had to go one way or the other. And as Greg Shipper tried to do his very level best to keep it all in one, that's not how it worked. Some had to go there, some had to go the other way. So it did break up one of the best teams going around. Now that that's happened, what I've seen over the course of time, we actually haven't galvanised our best Victorian players into those two sides. We've actually let them drift off into other teams, which to me is really annoying when I have to commentate on it. So I want to see the Victorian talent pool stay within either one or two of those franchise teams, which I think, from Cummins' point of view, is actually right on the pathway of trying to do that. What's that mean for the Renegades this year? Well, I think it's going to be very difficult for that team to perform and have any sort of certainty going forward. Now, so the market will go ahead. Next year, the Renegades will be sold to X person from the Indian market. As I said, I don't see this as a bad thing, I see it as a real positive thing. Why? Because that's the trend. And the Indian Premier League, the Indian business people are leading the way in the T20 landscape. And if you look at it as a business sense, $150 million injected, which is the price that I've heard, into Victorian cricket, is amazing. My question to everyone involved in cricket is, where's that money going to be spent? Where does it go? Does it go to grassroots cricket? Does it go to maintaining talent pools within Victoria? These are the questions which have been stalled. And I'm sure there's a plan in Cricket Victoria, I hope there is. But the other teams have been left high and dry. You know what? I see that as foresight, smart vision, and the others have to catch up. What's it mean for the Renegades? Well, unfortunately, they're going to be left behind. And if I was a business person, I'd be putting all my chips into the Melbourne Stars or the Rangers or whatever they're called, in making that team the best team known to man, both female and male, in the world. Whatever happens to the Renegades, happens to the Renegades. Now, are the rest of the states going to come and jump on board? They'll have to. 150 million speaks for itself. If you can't generate that revenue, then you have to find it somewhere. So I don't know, does anyone understand how the revenue share is broken up within Victorian cricket? Right, so basically it comes into a big pool. So the states are governed by different entities. So let's call it Cricket Victoria, Cricket New South Wales, Cricket Tasmania. So the Big Bash, whether it makes money in Tasmania or not, so the Melbourne Stars, they make money, right? Break-even points, 12,000 people at the MCG, most times you cover that. There's 30 or 40,000 there every time. So they make money. Down in Hobart Hurricanes, they actually don't financially make money. They lose money. So then that money goes back into a pool and it gets distributed out 1/6 evenly across the states. So from my perspective, if I'm a business person, if I'm Melbourne Stars, what is the driver for me to be super successful if I can't have a business sense and earn that revenue per se? I have to distribute that revenue back out to people that actually can't do their job professionally. So that's the problem where it sits. So everyone is trying to get their hands on, okay, well, Melbourne Stars have sold that. How do I, as Tasmania Cricket, get my little hands on a little bit of that pie? And this is the conundrum. And this is why holding 50 or 51% in a state-based revenue share doesn't work. You need a business sense. You need someone to come in and have 51% share. You go, I own Melbourne Stars, and I'm going to turn it into a $500 million team. So, cut a long story short, it's going to be a challenging scenario trying to support a team that has no future in the next 12 months. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know how it's going to be when me and Will are up there commentating on it. I don't know how we can support that, to be honest. 150 million injection into our cricket. It's not easy to find money into this game. I think it's a positive thing. But if the administrators get it wrong, it's not good. So you need to work out, in my perspective, where that money goes. Will everyone follow this tune? They have to. They've got no choice. Why? Because the Big Bash is up against the South Australian League. Does anyone follow the South Australian League? SA T20? Yeah, it's a good league. Gets good support, the broadcast rights hit India and all that sort of network. The timelines are great. So for us to be able to be competitive, we have to jump in bed with India at some time. And the landscape, unfortunately, will change. The Test cricket becomes the secondary option. And T20 cricket becomes like the English Premier League. We've already seen it. Most of our players have allegiance to 6 or 7 teams. As a coach, Will, biggest challenge, if you go to that next level, what's that represent? I've been in that space before. I've played for multiple teams across the year and I actually don't know which team I really am motivated to do well to. I don't know how Andrew McDonald's going forward is going to manage it. It's extremely tough. But the threats are real. Travis Head has had $10 million put across his table to just step away from this and play T20 cricket. You can't shy away from that. So how do we keep our best players in the market? Well, you've got to feed them. You've got to give them what their market value is. So T20 cricket, my biggest gripe around Big Bash at the moment is we don't have the best players playing it all the time. It's that simple. And if you're going to have investment of 150 million from someone outside of Australia, I can guarantee they're going to demand, one thing. Because if I'm paying 150 million, all my top players are available. So that's the conundrum that Cricket Australia will face when you get external investment in. But if I'm paying $150 million, I don't want Pat Cummins playing for Australia, I want him playing for Sydney Thunder, or whoever he's attached to. Sydney Sunrisers Hyderabad. So that's the conundrum we face, gents and ladies. It's a challenging one, and not only will this face issues for the male side, it's going to face issues for the female side as well. Because all of our top players are now just jet setting around. Indian Premier League, to the 100, to some other dog shit league in the Caribbean, make some money, fly home, put a new bathroom on. So my biggest challenge to everyone in cricket is that, what does it represent? Tim David, who's your love and passion for? Who's your number one team? But anyway, the landscape is that it's going to be super exciting. There's potentially 150 million coming into Victorian cricket. Whether they've jumped the gun or not early, sometimes you've got to be first to the well. So I think it's a really strong move for Victorian cricket to actually put other people under the acid and say, it's coming, we're going to be creative, we're going to go out on a limb, jump on board, or service yourself. Good news is, and this won't change anything in the world, you've still got two dudes who average 50 in first class cricket. We'll be back shortly, have a good chat, and I can't look forward to interviewing my mate Will.